Spring Independent School District is officially called to order on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. The time is now 7 p.m. Board trustees present: Winfred Adams Jr., Deborah Jensen, Justine Durant, Jana Gonzalez, Dawn Davis, and myself, Rhonda Newhouse. I would like to ask everyone to turn off or silence their cell phones or electronic devices at this time. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge will be led by the Westfield Mustang Army ROTC. So I would like to pass this over to Captain Davis and ask him if he will present our flag.
Colleagues, it's always exciting. Westfield Mustangs, that's very dear and close to my heart. Everybody knows. First of all, on page 5 of your summary, this all the highlights. I'm not going to highlight. It gives a summary of all the things you just passed on. This goes all year round. But a nice summary on page 5, all the things that you've done really part of the time. Nice summary, all the great things. And I want to congratulations, summer camp, and I know what summer camp is all about. So you all did wonderful, and thank you, Representative Spring ISD. And now, let me do what I'm supposed to be doing. Tonight, President Colors will be led by the Westfield Mustang ROTC, under your distinction, of course, under the command of Cadet Command Faith Jones. The pledge will be led by Cadet Private Bern Alvarado and Cadet Sergeant David Grin. Carrying U.S. flag tonight is also Faith Jones. U.S. Color Guard is Command Cadet Major William Garza. Carrying the Texas flag is Major Alvarado Bailey, and the Texas flag is Cadet Sergeant Dana Vega. The Westfield ROTC and Honor Guard is under instructions of Major Charles R. Thompson, First Sergeant Carlos Jackson, and Sergeant First Class Warren Fields. At this time, everyone please rise for the pledges, and please remain standing.
Please remain standing. As you know, today is 9/11. Many of you may have taken part in memorial services today. We ask that you remember those that died 9/11, names that were called this morning, others that you may know that have suffered as a result of 9/11. So please remember them in a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Our next item is the superintendent's remarks. At this time, I would like to recognize our superintendent of schools, Dr. Rodney Watson.
Thank you, President Newhouse and other trustees. Good evening. I do have several announcements for this evening. As you know, on Saturday, September the 11th will be, not today, but on Saturday, we'll have our attendance walk. And September is Attendance Awareness Month, and we're going to be working hard to make sure that our scholars are coming to school every day. As you know, we're going to be holding our annual Everyday Counts Attendance Matters Success Walk. We participated in these events for the past 4 years. I and dozens of our spring ISD teachers and volunteers will be out in our neighborhoods talking with our students who, for whatever reason, have dropped out and have not come back to school. And we'll be working together to figure out how we can help them get back on track and back enrolled in our schools. I know trustees will be joining me this Saturday, and we hope to have a chance to talk to parents and students about the importance of attendance as we've done in previous years. We're also encouraging everybody who knows students that have dropped out or are struggling to get to school every day to let us know so we can reach out and to help them. I'm hoping that our entire Spring ISD community will work together once again to help us get our students back. In addition, next week I'll be starting a listening tour focused on our middle schools, an area that we've discussed many times that we need to focus on. This is going to be a big priority for us because our data shows that some of our families are opting out at the middle school level. We're going to be holding 6 meetings where we'll gather input from our families that will help us strengthen our middle school offerings. These meetings are coming at an important time for us as we develop new programming for middle school number 8 that is part of our bond project as well as our other specialty middle school programs. As you know, we have a lot of opportunity in our middle school programs, especially as we think about how we're going to be transitioning our students to the new 9th grade centers set to open in August of 2020. And when these sessions are done, I'll be coming back to you with some of our findings and any recommendations that are developed. We also will provide you the dates and locations for those meetings as well, so you have those on your calendar. October is National Bully Prevention Month, and we're going to be planning to officially launch our new anonymous reporting tool in the coming weeks. We've developed a special form within our Elevate tool that will be able to help us capture bullying complaints and concerns, and we're working with all of our school administrators on policies and procedures for managing all of our bullying investigations. We want everyone to know that we take all of our bullying complaints seriously. As we move into October, our communications department will be helping to promote awareness around bullying, as well as helping us to build a culture where students and staff feel respected and safe, which is part of our core values. Now I'm extremely excited to announce that the Spring ISD Foundation is here. And this foundation is here tonight to present the district with a check for $12,500. This is a portion of money collected through our reoccurring employee donations to the foundations. So last year, the group started its Springway Halfback program to incentivize employee giving. And tonight's check is a result of the giving as well as their hard work. Some of this money will be returned to the campuses tomorrow during the annual principals meeting, and some will go to central administration depending on the total given by each campus and central administration. Campuses will be able to use their funds in support of special projects focused on students and staff, and central admin will use the money to support the Employee Hugs program. I'm very grateful to the foundation and all of their work, but most importantly, grateful to the foundation for their generosity and their push to help us incentivize our staff to participate. At this time, I would ask Ken and Sandra and any other foundation members if you could come to the horseshoe, and Ms. Newhouse has given us permission, if we could go to the horseshoe and shake their hands and say thank you and be presented with a check.
is my son's principal. Mm-hmm. I love Joe Wright. That's Erica Banda. You know Angelica Banda? That's her sister. She is a mess. I'm telling you. Or at least I didn't work with her. She was like second in academics or something too. Must have been a long time ago. That was over academics. And she literally left like 3 months after I got here, and Elaine had been here the rest of the time. It's funny because Roz went to work for an architect too. I worried I was running up on that ladder. He seems to have it down.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Like, what are y'all doing? How are you?
Oh, how you doing? Okay, so finally, our groundbreaking. As you know, we like to mention that we had a great groundbreaking event this past Saturday for our replacement stadium. It was really wonderful to see so many people out, especially our student athletes, our musicians, cheer teams, and all of the high schools. There was a definite sense of unity, which everyone that I talked to mentioned. And so we're extremely happy about that. We also had a lot of fun from our elected officials. I think Sheila Jackson Lee also had a great time coming out. I want to thank everyone who came out to the event and all those that helped make that event possible, especially Stantec Architects and Durotech Construction. If you weren't there, I'd like to show you all a short video highlighting some of the things that we celebrated on Saturday.
The groundbreaking ceremony for the new spring replacement stadium is a great day.
I doubt it. No, I do.
I would like to say a special thank you to all of you who have supported us through our 2016 bond.
You just look high.
The community came out and voted, letting us know that they do believe in spring and the potential of spring.
It's great to see the all in the community and the ISD. It's really exciting.
We are one district. It's just not by happenstance that you've seen all of our schools together. This is something that we're going to continue seeing as we move forward.
But a lot of work has gone into this, up to this point, with people from Spring ISD, from the design team, now we've got the construction team on board, getting ready to rock and roll on the construction site and get ready for opening.
Outside, and it looks beautiful. The reference, it showed where everything would be, like the locker rooms, the new weight rooms, and all that. I actually I loved it. I loved how it looked.
The stadium is really important for the children of Spring ISD, and not just the football players. You're talking about the band, you're talking about the choir, you're talking about the drill team, you're talking about cheerleaders, you're talking about the CTE kids that are going to run the cameras and do all the graphics and the scoreboard. You're talking about the journalism classes that are writing on this and putting it online. There's so many aspects of this stadium that's going to reach so many kids.
We have a community that understands the value of athletics and band participation to the overall education of our students. There's no doubt that this same discipline and teamwork that is essential for victory on the field can help pave the way for success in the classroom.
We have come a mighty long way, haven't we? Last year we faced Hurricane Harvey, and look at us now.
second most exciting part of the project. The most exciting is when we get to the grand opening of this facility, which we're looking forward to.
This stadium is going to impact this community for so many years. It's just a really, really exciting time to get this thing kicked off and ready to go.
Obviously, your students are going to make it all come to life when they're out there on the playing field. And we did this right. We did something that we could all be proud of.
So at this time, we do have a special presentation for the trustees.
All right. Oh, yeah.
NFL Super Bowl winner.
Oh, he signed them.
Oh, okay. Oh, special.
Tony Ugo, our own Super Bowl champ. Cotton Satchel. There you go.
Wow.
President Newhouse, that concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. You have some excited board members tonight. Very appreciative. Thank you. Next, I would like to ask our board members, trustees, you have like to make some remarks?
Yeah, I'll go first. Thank everyone for being out tonight and for coming out on this Saturday. It was a great occasion. But I'm looking around today. It's Tie Tuesday, I believe. And I was told by a former colleague of mine on the board, I always wear a tie on Tuesdays, but I tell you, I spent 5 minutes trying to put this one on in the car. And I almost didn't wear it, but now that I walk in and I see our president and Dr. Hinojosa, and so I'm excited about Tie Tuesday and our students wearing those ties.
I have a couple of comments I'd like to mention tonight. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Watson for giving me the opportunity on the 21st, I think, or August the 2nd, secondary school to business school to a presentation on behalf of my organization and on behalf of the community. We got donations for the community for back to school supply. And this year we decided instead of having parents and kids to come to us to pick them up, we've been for like 10 years, we decided we want to take it to the schools. So I gathered Dr. Watson, and of course, we identified 6 schools to make the presentations to those particular schools. We was able to give supply to 6 different schools, and was able to give a survival kit to 25 teachers. And I'm expressing tonight to make sure it get documented, so next year, when I started begging for money from the community, folks know that I put their money to the right cause. Sometimes people put money elsewhere. But thank Dr. Watson for the opportunity to let me go to those schools and that day make those presentations. I think it was a worthwhile opportunity. I enjoyed doing it. And the next thing I'd like to mention about, right before the meeting tonight, I got a phone call by one of our former students. They just graduated from West Point and got commissioned as a lieutenant in the United States Army. And I'm extremely proud. I wish the ROTC department was still here. They're gone. Extremely proud. This cadet, one of my students, she was the first female ROTC cadet to finish at Westfield ROTC. Also African student to go to West Point and get her commission. And she's requesting to have the opportunity to come back and talk to the students here in Westfield, the cadets. Thank you all so much for letting ROTC be a part. This just a product of what's, it's kind of, it's still for what she finished in 2010, was a product of what we're doing with our cadets. And I'm extremely proud of her. Our cadet Christmas Lindsay is the name.
A couple of Saturdays ago, I attended the 15th annual Labor Day parade out in Spring, and they put on a great parade, even though it rained cats and dogs out there. But a lot of folks came out, and it was a really good event. And I also wanted to say, in line with what you're talking about, Don, the Spring High School Junior ROTC cadets did an outstanding job carrying those colors during that parade in the rain. It amazed me while I was riding in a covered cart. They were walking the route, and it's really a testament to the dedication of those young men and women.
Well, I'd like to just talk about a progress point here. We're in our lift year in our strategic plan, and I've got to tell you, Dr. Watson, this is the first strategic plan that I've seen not rot on a shelf. It just seems like people seem to make big plans and put them away, and I have to say, month after month, year after year, you have steered a steady course, but you are flexible as well. There are parts of the plan that were not appropriate or didn't work out, and that have been changed, but it's minor amounts. And one thing I love about this is that we're not pulling something new on teachers and administrators every year. That I'm just very impressed with our strategic plan and how everybody who makes a presentation always ties whatever they're doing back to that plan. So congratulations on our progress.
I'd like to echo that with our strategic plan and how it's unfolding and become just a part of all that we do. And I'm really excited about that. And that strategic plan began when you came on board and started your listening tour. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of the middle school listening tours. That is our area of opportunity right now, our middle schools, and we're putting a strong focus on it. Not just your listening tours, but with the 9th grade centers coming to give us an opportunity to cushion those middle schools in that 9th grade experience before we put them in the big pond with the big fish at the high school. So I'm really excited about the challenge that has arisen and how we've rose to that challenge to improve, work hard for our middle schools to make sure that all students are being impacted and that we continue to win as a team. At the groundbreaking ceremony, I was just filled with so much emotion and pride. If you weren't there, it was an amazing experience. And one of the things that I felt really excited about was to see all 3 high school drill teams perform together, all 3 bands play together, all 3 choirs sing together, because we are spring, we are one team, we will win as a team, and unity is the beginning towards success. And so that, to me, sent a very strong message. And I was just really proud of what happened that day, and I'm really excited the direction that we're taking. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you and the cabinet and our administration for all the hard work that you put in.
I had an opportunity to visit Clark Intermediate School, and I'd like to thank Captain Davis for sharing with me their need. He notified me that they were in need of backpacks at that school. So I quickly started talking with my resources and gathered boxes and boxes and bags of backpacks came to me. And I delivered them to the principal, Mr. Brooks, last week. So thank you for that, doing that, Don. And I'd like the schools to know that when they have students who are in need, simple things like that, please let us know. And we have resources that can help, and we'd like to help and call on the community to help in any way we can. I'd also like to say that I'm happy to be here wearing my tie on Tie Tuesday, because I'm excited about Tie Tuesday in our schools. I thank you all for coming up with this program, Dr. Hinojosa. And so I have a bag of ties here that I want to give you tonight. And I am going to continue to call on resources in the community, fraternities, sororities, businesses, to make sure that our students have ties for Tie Tuesday. So that's going to be our goal this year.
My announcement. My chapter is also designating our October meeting donation of ties. So we've
great.
Chapter right Atlanta after.
Because I'm calling on.
You already
Thank you.
Trust for success, it sets the tone.
It really sets the tone. And in meeting with our principals this afternoon earlier, they were excited about it. They were wearing ties, the ladies, talking about where they were going to get their ties and how they were decorating them with their school names and mascots. So this is turning out to be a very, very nice thing for the district, a new culture for our students. Thank you. Okay, we will now continue with tonight's agenda. Our next item is our Point of Pride Award. At this time, I would like to recognize our Chief Communications Officer, Tiffany Dunn Oldfield.
Good evening, President Newhouse, Dr. Watson, esteemed members of the board. This evening, as we discussed at our last board meeting, we have a very special Point of Pride. It's actually a department that is coming back for their second Point of Pride this year. So with that, I wanted to just take a brief moment to remind everybody about our Point of Prides. They are exclusive to state and national recognitions that have been awarded to staff or students. My team reviews those awards and we look at them through that lens. And so very few of these awards are given out, but this particular department is back for their second award this evening. And so I say that as I introduce to come up here to the podium my colleague and friend, Philip Ellison, the procurement department, and his chief, Ann Westbrooks, our chief financial officer, to come up here, and then I invite the board into the horseshoe. And I mention that because I don't want anybody to think that I'm giving my friend a second award this year. This is well deserved, well deserved. I'm going to let Philip take a second to introduce his team members that are with him here this evening.
Thank you, Tiffany. This is Erica Banda and Rhonda Mitchell, two of our purchasing professionals.
I'm going to read about the award. For the 9th year running, the Spring ISD Procurement Services Department has been awarded the Annual Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award by the National Procurement Institute. This prestigious award recognizes organizational excellence, professionalism, and commitment to continuous innovation in procurement-related practices. This year, Spring ISD was one of only 26 school districts across all of the U.S. and Canada to receive the distinction. The criteria for the award is always evolving and winning year after year, like our procurement services team has done for almost a decade now, shows both their dedication to best practices and a commitment to ongoing departmental growth and development. It also confirms how our procurement department exemplifies our core values, striving for excellence in all they do, building trust through integrity, and of course, winning as a team. Please join me in congratulating Philip Ellison, the procurement team, and Ann Westbrooks for this award. Would you like to say anything about the award, about your team's economic?
Thank you. It's just a testament, especially in this year of LIFT, that we're able to recognize the procurement department again. It's an award that has a minimum amount of criteria to meet, and there's a maximum amount that you can attain. And this year, we've attained the highest score we've been able to get so far in the last 9 years, and we're going to keep building on that as we can. Thank you.
You gotta go too, Ann. You get to go too.
She's standing on the side.
No, stay. hold up the point of pride, though, too.
Wait, that's great. Good job.
That concludes our points of pride.
Thank you. We're so happy to be sharing all of the success from Spring ISD with our community. We thank you. Our next item is the public hearing for the 2018-2019 Spring Independent School District Campus Improvement Plans. At this time, I would like to recognize our Chief of School Leadership and Student Support Services, Lupita Hinojosa.
Thank you, Ms. Newhouse, members of the board, Dr. Watson. As you'll recall, last Thursday during our work session, we talked about our campus improvement plans. We went through the process. Our principals were able to come and discuss the process and each part of their campus improvement plan. So tonight, we have the required hearing of citizens, and I'd like to ask Dr. Hill, did we have anyone sign up to speak to our campus improvement plans?
No, we do not have anyone signed up to speak.
Thank you. Did the board have any questions? I know we had really good discussion on Thursday. Any other questions that you may have related to our campus improvement plans?
I've just been starting to go over them, and it impresses me how important it is to have individual control at schools and principals who can analyze the data of their school and see their challenges, because there's a huge variety in problems identified, successes identified, and also the strategies going forward. I'm just so impressed at the work at the campus level to produce these plans. So I'm going to really look forward to hearing back how these plans work out this year.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Hinojosa, for putting those plans on a jump drive for us. It made it a lot easier for us to review and look at. So we appreciate your doing that for us. I will now entertain a motion that the Board of Trustees approve the 2018-2019 Spring Independent School District Campus Improvement Plans as presented by the administration.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve the 2018-2019 Spring Independent School District Campus Improvement Plans as presented by the administration.
Second.
It has been moved by Chris Bell and seconded by Winfred Adams Jr. that the Board of Trustees approve the 2018-2019 Spring Independent School District Campus Improvement Plans as presented by the administration. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. For our next item, I'd like to again recognize our Chief of School Leadership and Student Support Services, Lupita Hinojosa.
Thank you, Ms. Newhouse. And this second item that we also discussed last Thursday, it's an interlocal contract between Harris County Department of Education and Spring ISD. We're requesting that the board approve this contract to provide therapy services for this coming school year. And as you know, these are specific therapy-related services for our students as required by their ARD IEPs. And as you can see, we listed the different services that we are requesting from Harris County Department of Education.
I will now entertain a motion that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal contract between Harris County Department of Education and Spring Independent School District for therapy services for the 2018-2019 school year as presented by the administration.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal contract between Harris County Department of Education and Spring Independent School District for therapy services for the 2018-2019 school year.
It has been moved by Jana Gonzalez and seconded by Justine Durant that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal contract between Harris County Department of Education and Spring Independent School District for therapy services for the 2018-2019 school year as presented by the administration. Is there any discussion?
Just that I'll be abstaining from this vote because of my employment relationship with HCD and this one and the second.
I would just like to mention that I appreciate this is an efficient, cost-saving way to provide the best services to our special education students. Sometimes their individual plans will call for a certain kind of therapist, and instead of having to try to staff our school, we can very lucky to have the Harris County Department of Education have personnel that we can contract with. So I just really appreciate this service with that entity.
Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Any abstaining? The motion carries 6-4 and 1 abstention. Dr. Henner-Holston will present information regarding our next item.
Thank you, Ms. Newhouse. And the next item is also an interlocal agreement between Harris County Department of Education and Spring ISD. We are asking that the board approve this interlocal agreement with Harris County Department of Education and Spring ISD, and this will bring to us the 21st Century After-School Program at Bammel Middle School. This is in addition to the program and the grant that we have received for our own 10 schools.
I will now entertain a motion that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal agreement between Harris County Department of Education and Spring Independent School District for the 21st Century Grant Program as presented by the administration.
Madam President, I move the Board of Trustees approve interlocal agreement between Harris County Department of Education, HCD, and the Spring Independent School District for the 21st Century Grant Program as presented by the administration.
It has been moved by Don Davis and seconded by Jana Gonzalez that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal agreement between Harris County Department of Education and Spring Independent School District for the 21st Century Grant Program as presented by the administration. Is there any discussion?
Well, once again, I would like to compliment the administration for obtaining this subaward. So what I get from this is that we didn't actually have to do the whole full-blown proposal that TEA did, and that they are giving us pass-through funds on this. So this is just a win-win. And when you see the schedule that goes fall, spring, and summer to give kids additional enrichment, educational enrichment, it's just a wonderful opportunity.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Any abstention? The motion carries 6-4 and 1 will be absent. Our next item is the consent agenda. I will now entertain a motion to approve and adopt all of the items listed on the consent agenda.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve and adopt all of the items listed on the consent agenda.
Have a second? It's been moved by Winfred Adams and seconded by Justine Durant that the Board of Trustees approve and adopt all of the items listed on the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, and we'd like to remind everyone that we went over all of the consent items at our work session on this past Thursday. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. The motion carries unanimously. Next is the public participation portion of our meeting. Chief Hill, do we have anyone registered to speak under public participation?
No, Madam President, we do not.
I looked up at the time. The Board of Trustees will now recess this open session and convene in a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.071, for the purpose of a private consultation with the board's attorney on any or all subjects or matters authorized. Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.072, for the purpose of discussing the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.074, for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.076, to consider the deployment on specific occasions or implementation of security personnel or devices. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in the closed meeting will take place after the board reconvenes in open session. The time is now 7:44 p.m. We will now reconvene and resume the work session of the Board of Trustees. The time is now 8:53 p.m. We will now address the items discussed during closed session. Are there any motions?
Madam President, I move that the board render a final order to terminate the contracts of Omar Durham, Raymond Jackson, Stanley Alexander, Adrian Gomez, and Isaac Rodriguez, and authorize the superintendent to notify the employees of the action taken by the board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Justine Durant and second by Chris Bell that we render a final order.
Winford.
I'm sorry, Winford Adams. Let me start over. It's been moved by Justine Durant and second by Winford Adams that we render a final order to terminate the contracts of Omar Durham, Raymond Jackson, Stanley Alexander, Adrian Gomez, and Isaac Rodriguez, and authorize the superintendent to notify the employees of the action taken by the board. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Are there any other motions?
Madam President, I move the board issue a district teaching permit to the following employee, Adia Leonard, for the purpose of teaching non-core career and technology courses, and to authorize the superintendent of schools to notify the Commissioner of Education of the board's action.
Second.
by Jana Gonzalez and second by Donald Davis. That the board issue a school district teaching permit to the following employee, Idea Leonard, for the purpose of teaching non-core career and technology courses, and to authorize the superintendent of schools to notify the Commissioner of Education of the board's actions. All those in favor, raise your right hand. The motion carries unanimously. Are there any other motions?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation to terminate the contracts of Jose Hernandez, Antonio Juarez, and Leilani Tetano upon finding that the employees failed to perform their contracts without good cause, and authorize the superintendent to notify the employees of the proposed termination pursuant to Chapter 21 of the Texas Education Code. I further move that the board authorize the superintendent to notify the State Board of Educators certification if the employees fail to perform their contracts without good cause, and of the action taken by the board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Winfred Adams and second by Deborah Jensen that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation to terminate the contracts of Jose Hernandez, Antonio Juarez, and Melina Giato upon finding that the employees failed to perform their contracts without good cause, and authorize the superintendent to notify the employees of the proposed termination pursuant to Chapter 21 of the Texas Education Code. I further move that the board authorize the superintendent to notify the State Board of Education certification that the employees failed to perform their contracts without good cause, and of the action taken by the board. All those in favor, raise your right hand. The motion carries unanimously. Are there any other motions? There are no other items on the tonight's agenda. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Jana Gonzalez and second by Justine Durant to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Right hand. Motion carries unanimously. There are no further business, and this meeting is officially adjourned at 8:57.